I'm gonna go over it. As we know, they added a new expansion. They added custom packs, which can be any pets. They added weekly packs, which change every Monday. They added a new pack option to private versus, where you can force a pack for everyone, which is pretty cool. Added a new life loss option to the private versus per pet with cap, which is kind of cool. Added a new time option, scaling time. Added a ready player count, so you know how many people you're waiting on. I guess it's just a quality of life thing. Added an option to hide an email for streamers, which is good because I leak mine all the time. Added more noun and adjective options, which is probably the biggest thing. Get more team name. Added a survey to allow players to vote on pets that should be changed. I think this is great. It's basically you click on the vote thing, and it shows an entire list of all the pets in the game, and you just click on 1 to 3, and that's all you click. You don't say what about it, you just click on what needs rebalance. But as for the rebalances, we have the beaver is now a 3-2, which it was a 2-2, so the beaver's pretty good. The duck is a 2-3, which was a 1-3, makes it a little bit better to grab early game. The fish is now a 2-2, which I think was probably reasonable. I think the fish is still really strong. Its level up ability is great, and it was also very strong in like round 1 and 2, so I think they should make it a little bit weaker. Otter to buy, instead of giving +2/+2 to a pet on level 2, it gives 2 pets +1/+1, which I think is great. Because Otter really early with just one other pet was kind of very overpowered, just because you could get one pet super strong by only having that and one Otter. Pig is 4-1, which I don't think makes a huge difference because most tier 1s don't have 4 health. Unless you have like a beaver or a duck to somehow give it 4 health. So I think the pig doesn't really make a difference. Bluebird to intern give a random friend +1 attack. I think the bluebird before wasn't overpowered, but this helps with some of the new pets that are coming around, like or not new pets, but it helps with like getting a ladybug, giving it a ton of broccoli, which gives it +3 health, and then combining it with a ladybug on the left, it has a ton of attack and getting a huge ladybug. Beetle to eat shop food, give the leftmost shop pet +1 health. I didn't think the beetle was that strong to begin with. So, like, I think if you rolled a ton of them as well as dromedary, it could be pretty good, but it also fell off. So this nerf kind of makes it useless because then you can only buff up one pet. Crab to start of battle instead of on buy, and instead of copy 100% from the most healthy friend, it's copy 50% health. So the crab is unplayable. The crab's probably the worst unit in the game right now, which is kind of sad. So yeah, hopefully they'll tweak this one. Elephant to before attack, deal 1 damage to the friend behind. Repeat 1, 2, or 3 times. So instead of hitting 1 pet, 2 pets, 3 pets, it's just hitting 1 pet multiple times once you level it up. Which is really, really good because you didn't... Like, once you leveled up the elephant, it was hitting 2 people, and typically one of the pets wasn't really benefiting from it. So now the elephant, you only have to have 1 pet to pair with. The flamingo is now a 4-2, which it was a 3-1, I think. So the flamingo is really good. I think you play it kind of like an ant. You grab it if you see it, pill it, get rid of it. Peacock to hurt, gain +4 attack. I think the peacock's really, really strong early, especially if you pair it with a camel maybe or the new elephant. It can get a ton of attack, but it definitely falls off later. The dromedary end of turn, similar to the beetle, give 2 leftmost shop pets +1/+1 instead of 3 or 4. So the dromedary I didn't think was super strong to begin with, and I think it makes it kind of bad now. Now you don't want to grab it. Badger, 4-3 and faint, deal 50% attack damage to adjacent pets. So the badger is not good anymore because the badger was 100%, 200%, 300%. Now it's 50, 100, 150. So you have to get the badger level 2 before it's even useful, and it's also even 1 less attack. It was a 5-3. So yeah, badger might need a little bit of tweaking. I don't know how to make it better. Maybe give it better stats. Because 100, 200, 300 was kind of crazy, but this is very weak. Camel's a 2-6, and hurt is now give +1/+2 to a friend behind instead of +1/+2, I think. And I think the stats, I think it was maybe a 2-5. I can't remember the stats. But this is great. I think the camel's really, really strong. You can pair it with the elephant, go elephant, camel, peacock. But I think the camel is really, really strong with something like a rooster that benefits off getting a ton of stats and can actually do something with it instead of just being a big unit. The ox is now a 1-3 and instead of a 1-4. And now it gains melanin +1 attack instead of +2 attack. So the ox is still decently strong, but it's definitely an early game unit to grab, and it falls off super fast. Because if you kill a ton of stuff, its attack is not going up that fast. Change lobster to friend summon outside of battle, give it +2/+3 instead of +2/+2. The lobster is still bad. It's still a worse turkey. That doesn't do anything. Okay, and bison is now a 4/4 instead of a 6/6. And honestly, this change at first I didn't think was a big deal. But I think the bison is actually, like, bad now. I thought before the bison was like A tier, B tier. And this basically makes your bison 1 turn slower, which is kind of a big deal. I didn't think it would be, but I, like, don't grab bisons at all anymore. I could be wrong, though. And let's see, what else we got? We got the hippo to knockout gain +3/+3 instead of +2/+2, which I think is a big buff to the hippo. Because on level 2 it's +6/+6 instead of 4, +9/+9 instead of 6 on level 3. So I think the hippo is actually really strong, and it's a pretty consistent tier 4 I think that you should grab. Especially if you are going up against a ton of summons. The pair is now a 4/2 instead of a 6/3, I think is what it was. Or maybe a 5/3. I think it was 6/3. I think this is a good buff, or a good nerf, I mean. The parrot's really, really strong, and it combos with a ton of stuff. It's not good on its own, but I think the stat is probably helpful, because you can grab it with a lot of things. Squirrel to start of turn. Add 1 shop food and discount them by 1, 2, or 3 gold. So it's the same as before, but now you get an extra food. The only thing with this, though, is if you're in the rounds where you have 5 pets and 2 food, the squirrel does not add an 8th slot, it just gets rid of one of your pets. So if you're really looking for a pet, you only get 4 pets instead of 5. So I think the squirrel's good if you're going food build, but if you are looking for some pets to level up and want more to roll, don't go it. The worm's now a 3/3 instead of a 1/1, which, similar to kind of how the bison was, I think this makes the worm a decent bit stronger. Because these are like tier 4s, so the stats kind of matter. So the worm has an extra pair on it initially, I guess, and the bison has 1 less. So I think the worm gets a decent bit stronger because it can survive in the early rounds with that extra stat. Buffalo is now a 4/4, and to buy friend, gain +1/+1 works 3 times per turn. Hey, the buffalo is still really strong. I think this nerf was needed because the buffalo could basically run away with the game if you had a good buy-sell team. And there's also new pets like the goldfish and basically a ton of things that help with buy-sell that would make it to where you could get the buffalo 50/50 in like 2 or 3 turns. Caterpillar to no longer transform if it's killed first. I think this was what people were kind of hoping for. Thank you so much for the resub, Chrisio. But yeah, I think this just makes sense. If the caterpillar died and then it transformed, it kind of pissed a lot of people off. Crocodile, to start a battle, deal 8 damage to the last enemy. Repeat instead of 8, 14, or 8, 16, 24. It is now 8, 8 twice, 8 3 times. Which, in every situation except for against garlic, is better. Because let's say there's a turkey in the back, it kills the turkey, and then you do 8 damage to the pet that was in front of the turkey. Or let's say the turkey has a mushroom, you kill the turkey respawns, you kill that. It's definitely better than just shooting 1 damage. And most pets in the back aren't going to have garlic. So Crocodile's insanely strong now. I think it's probably one of the best snipers over, or besides like the leopard. Rhino to knockout, deal 4 damage to the first enemy, double damage against tier 1 pets. I think the Rhino was pretty good, and I think it's really good now because all summon pets are tier 1s. So like a bus, a ram, a zombie fly. Those are tier 1s. So the Rhino is going to now be able to kill Busts by default. Flies by default, which anyways are 4/4s, so it would have anyways. Yeah, Rhino's really good if you're seeing a ton of summon builds. The Shark is now a Friend Feints gain +2/+2. It was +2/+1, so I think the Shark is pretty good now. Because used to, the Shark would just get a ton of attack, and it'd be in the very back because you want it to get as strong as possible, but then it would just die. So best case scenario, you just draw. But now that it has a ton of health, I think it's a decent bit stronger, just because it is +1 extra, but if it's level 2, it's +2 extra. And if you have, like, I don't know, 8 things die, that's an extra 16 health that you wouldn't have got. Okay, Turkey is now +2/+3 instead of +3/+3. I think this was definitely necessary. I think the Turkey's still good, and most teams are going to be as strong, but you're going to lose a couple more just because you have less attack. But I think it was needed because Turkey was strong. Zombie Fly. Flies are now 4/4s instead of 5/5s. So level 2 Zombie Flies will be 8/8s, and then 12/12s instead of 10/10s and 15/15. I think this is needed. I think Zombie Fly was really, really strong. And I think just nerfing it a little bit was good. Because Zombie Fly, you could just get a tier 6, place it on any team, and it would win you a round. Poodle is now give +1/+1 to a friend of each tier. So it's the exact same thing that it was before, except it does not target itself, which I guess is fine. And then Octopus before attack at any level, deal 3, at level 2 deal 6, at level 3 deal 9. So the Octopus in every situation is better, except for level 3. At level 3, used to the Octopus would deal 5 to everything, and now it's 9 to 2. So Octopus is good early on because you can grab it. It's still strong at level 3, but pretty good. Yeah, so basically the main things when this comes to the live server that I would look out for is, or I would start using, is I think the Elephant is pretty strong now. Don't use the Beetle anymore. I think it's bad. The Bluebird got worse. The Crab is horrible. Flamingo you start buying more often. Peacock's really good. Dromedary is horrible. Badger is a lot worse. Camel's really strong. Ox is worse. Bison I think is a lot worse. And then the Hippo I think is really strong. The Worm I think got a little bit better. The Crocodile is insanely strong. That's probably my favorite change. I think the Crocodile is really, really strong now. Rhino's a bit better. Start grabbing Shark more. And then Summon builds are a little bit worse, which I think people are happy about.